Hey, what's up, everyone? I know it's been a very long time since I posted a video, but I'm actually playing and enjoying the league. And I was very intrigued by a new skill that had been added by GGG, and I wanted to show something about it. So I'm actually enjoying that skill. It's pretty OP. I mean, I didn't have a lot of investment rather than just the Doriani prototype and a couple rings with minus resistances. I'm trying to show some kind of proof of damage, you can say. POB is not showing a lot of numbers because this skill probably is not optimized. I've seen many people playing it as damage that the player do, but I decided to focus on the minion damage. If you look into my tree, the POB will be included. I'm just boosting up minion damage, and that's it. Focusing on reservation, adding a lot of auras, and minion damage. So I just boosted minion damage here and there with cheap, timeless jewel. Uh, Getting some fortify because I don't know where to put the rest of the nodes, some block, etc., for the equipment. I decided to go with the alternating scepter because Secret of Suffering make sap enemies when you hit them with lightning, when your minions hit them with lightning. Because I believe, I'm not sure that minion says they are using your own weapon, which technically anything on that weapon will apply to the minions. For the shield, I just got one fractured, and I made these modifiers show up and slapped life and good to go. Resistances on the other equipments, and I'm getting the Dark Monarch. A very interesting helmet that doubles all your minion. This is very cheap, and when you make Holy Strike level 21 and beyond, your number of minions will grow from 3 minions into 4 minions, and doubling that become 8 minions. And I thought it's an interesting idea to just test what kind of damage it actually does. What happened here? All right, let's just see this. Not bad, not very. You can see the damage ramps up the moment. All right, you're here, so you're there. As you can see, the damage is not bad. The drop is bad, right? Yeah, you can see these four things floating around me whenever I hit. They show up and hit, and multiplying every damage you can get on it. You're gonna be multiplied by 8, which is surprisingly good. You're gonna see that in the probably POB. Maybe the damage is not actually very obvious. I will test it on the Night King. The only problem with this skill, I would say the clearing is not that great. The clearing is not that great, so you have to put some War Cry. I chose like an Infernal Cry. Yeah, see this guy? Where is he? Okay, he phased already. Oh my god, I hate this one. Okay, where should we go? We should look for something like... Yeah, this thing. It goes in here. And it goes in here. Yep, here we go. There it goes. It goes in here. We came from here, actually. Oh, it's there. Where is he? I believe that this monster actually got nerfed because he dies so fast. I'm going to show something about the clearing. Probably, if you thought about playing this build, at some point you're probably going to invest in some clearing mechanics such as the Warcry. Let's talk a bit about the skill gems that I actually use in this build. Sorry for this video is taking too long. It's not my problem. As you can see, we're all in the same boat. So I'm using the Holy Strike, Ruthless, Volatility, Elemental, and add like damage. Great on Multi-Strike is overkill. Multi-Strike was fantastically good. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that I see it is very interesting is that when I hit with the Multi-Strike, even if I move, you see the minions are sticking there and doing their hits, which is something interesting. If I remove the Multi-Strike and I try to hit, right, the moment I go away, they go away too. Like they don't linger. They don't linger. So multi-strike allow them to linger in the air, just waving here and there. I'm using using Wrath, Haste, Determination. Probably I'm using Smite to buff my minions. Molten Shell Automation. Spirit Offering with enchantment of the Hollow Effigy that make Spirit Offering doesn't need any corpse. Uh, getting this is very important to like you get to get Eyes of Great Wolf is 100% lightning damage taken as cold damage. The reason is cold damage or fire damage because our resistance is to 100% minus, which make Doriana prototype actually doing a great amount of damage because enemy resistance will be exactly similar to yours, which means your minions are going to dominate the fight. I'm using Tempest Shield. I'm currently standing on a block, I guess something around 78 plus 78, like spell 78 and block attack 78. Like again, the only thing is just make me don't like the build is it lacks of the clearing. Maybe because there's that's a nice one. That's a huge one. Now for Reflect, I would assume that if you're playing Reflect map, definitely you have to go to the passive tree and allocate Ancestral Bond. That means you're not going to do any damage. Nothing going to reflect back to you. Your minions are immortal. Technically, you can play any reflect, physical, or elemental. In case you're out of budget to get the hits can be evaded for some reason, you can still go for Resolute Technique, which technically is okay because Resolute Technique affects you and doesn't affect your minion. You can keep investing in minion critical strike chance without any problems. For the clearing, as I said, I'm using the auto exaltation. So right now, I'm just a little bit suffocated about the mana. If probably in the future, I'm going to make the mana reservation more efficient, so I can turn off vitality and turn on exaltation, and exaltation exert infernal cry, and to get some clearing bonus. So you can see the clearing and judge by yourself if right. We start with this. Oh my god, the lag is horrible. So all you have to do is just move around and click. And as you can see, what I'm fighting, my minions are lingering in the air, clearing. So even if the monster doesn't die, it doesn't matter, like because you keep moving and hitting your thing, right? You're hitting your Holy Strike, and Holy Strike will just continue abolishing the enemy, if abolishing is the real word. Boss damage, I've never seen any problem clearing any boss until now. Maven, the Night King, the oh, that's a possessed one. So what do you think? Like, what do you think about the clearing? I have no idea. Leave a comment if you have any suggestion for a better advice to make the build work uh, better than that. Currently, POB says the damage is around 2 million per the average damage around that per minion. And because you're having like 8 minions, you can multiply by 8 and then check for yourself. Lag is horrible. I really hate that. Alright, for the survivability, I can tell you, like you can see, the build is not dealing good with damage over time. It's still suffering ignites. Probably you can invest more and less chance to get ignited, or invest more in some more light region, probably. I'm not sure if somebody else played the build the way I played it, because most of the people focusing on using Halo support as a Guardian, and they kind of deal the damage themselves. Many people playing it with a staff. I totally understand that staff make the build really strong, maybe more damage. The only problem with that is that you lose some survivability. As you can see, I'm taking slaps at breakfast without any problems because of the amount of block that I have. And now let's talk a little bit about the build. If you're still watching the video, I believe it means you are interested in what is actually going on. And as you can see, we're playing as Guardian, uh, Templar, and the Ascendancy, second Ascendancy, we're using Feral. It's pretty cheap. You can just buy it for like 4 or 5C, go kill it, and then you have access to this node without any problems. We're using two anointment. The first one is Hollow Effigy, and the second one is Mark of the Prey. If you need more mana, if you don't have enough currency to get yourself an Enlighten, you can remove this one, and instead you can just anoint something about mana reservation. For example, Charisma if you want. For the jewels, if you have enough space to put some jewels, focus on Ghastly Eye Jewel, and something that says minion deal 50 lightning damage, 1 to 50, and another modifier which is minion deal 17. It's a number of damage, number percentage of damage if you use minion skill recently, which I actually targeted that on many of my rare jewels. And yeah, I just bite fractured on one of them, and then try to get the other modifiers using alteration and regal orb. For the timeless, I use elegant hubris. Find one that gives you a lot of how can I say, something like increase minion deal increase damage, although it is not that big difference. Like, probably will give you an extra 30% more damage if you use it efficiently. If you don't use it efficiently, you can invest all your nodes in some cluster jewel, which is probably also going to work. But the most thing that I really like about it is that Supreme Ostentation that ignores all attribute requirements, because once you remove it, you can see left side is screaming, requires more attribute, and I'm really not fond of traveling all the nodes to get attribute or putting attribute on my items. For the attack speed, yes, we do the same thing. Spiritual command, get attack speed when you increase minion attack speed. Pretty nice and decent. Invest in some of the crit for the minions here and there. Probably really useful. As you can see right now, according to my support, I'm using Holy Strike, the one that is actually supported with critical damage. It is not included in here, but the real damage can show up when you say add critical damage level 1. This is actually the real DPS of each minion. And if you include in full DPS for 8 minions, you're generating around 34 million according to POB, although I doubt this number. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. I'm not sure about that. For the items, as I show you, is just resistances and minus resistances and some life and mana here and there. For the shield, it wasn't very expensive actually. It cost me around 6 divines to craft this one. Although I just have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just increasing all minion skill gems. It wasn't that big of a deal in terms of the damage. For the scepter, you can use any scepter. I just decided to use Secret of Suffering to favor more survivability, because Secret of Suffering helped me to sap the enemy, and when the enemy are actually being sapped with some efficiency of between 15, you can see that I'm getting more effective hit pool. If you want to talk about enchantment, you can enchant yourself something about strike range, because the more strike range your weapon has, the more these armaments are going to hit further. So my next step, I'm actually going to just simply get a more strike range. For the curse, I'm using Assassin Mark and Mark on hit. When I hit myself, I will apply Assassin Mark, make the minion deal more damage, because enemy will take more critical strike. And finally, I get myself a melee hit Fortify after the rework. Fortify can be obtained by hitting over and over and over. And because our base damage is really high, even with toughest bosses, you can actually score up to 23. Fortify means 23% less damage received from the enemy. That's it, folk. I guess this build is quite interesting. If anybody was wondering about Holy Strike, probably this is all what you need to know about Holy Strike. Thank you for watching, and tune in for another video.